in and ended up with 17 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds in 24 minutes of a 130-125 win over the Rockets. Ja, how are you feeling?
I'm thankful and, grateful for everybody, who's been supporting me, during this time. It definitely, helped me a lot, definitely make me, feel a little better, ease, everything that's going on. Felt good to be back, super excited, glad we was able to get the win.
All right, Stephen A., what would you say is the Grizzlies' biggest obstacle to a title?
To me, it's the health of Steven Adams. I mean, you need that big body. You need that formidable foe on your front court. I look at the rest of the squad. I'm thinking about Bane. I'm thinking about Brooks. Of course, Morant. I expect him to be spectacular. Make no mistake about that. Jaren Jackson Jr. is just reminding us of the unicorn that he is. He is a special talent. If he can keep himself on the floor and stay out of foul trouble, there's big things that's happening. I think that when we look at the West, considering how Denver has faltered to some degree over the last several weeks, how we look at the Clippers and the injury to Paul George, how we look at Phoenix and, the questionable health of Kevin Durant and how that's going to materialize. You've got so many question marks in the Western Conference. You can't summarily dismiss anything about Memphis right now with Morant on the court, determined to return to superstar status, the superstar that we know him to be. I can't rule that out. What I can say is that without Steven Adams, because we know Brandon Clark's already going to be out, but without Steven Adams, that's a big time blow to their championship aspirations. But if somehow, some way, he was able to come back, and I haven't checked into his status at all. If that happens, we'll see what happens with them. I can't dismiss Memphis. I'll tell you that much.
So on Morant, first off, I was so impressed, right? You're taking a couple of weeks off from the game of basketball, regardless of whether he was working out by himself or not. The fact that his rhythm was on point, right? I think a lot of basketball players look at it that way from, does the ball, are you loose with the ball? Does your handle feel tight? How's your passing? Is it crisp? Your feel for the game, is it slightly off by a couple of seconds or is it on point? Everything seemed as if it were seamless for Ja last night. I mean, the strong finish all over with two hands in the first couple of plays, with the left-handed finish, the dunk on the baseline. Everything about Ja seemed like it fit naturally for him, and I'm glad to see him back on the court. Stephen A., I think there are two really big things here. Number one, I don't think personnel, I think personnel is going to be a major challenge for this team moving to get to the Western Conference Finals. I don't see Memphis getting to the Western Conference Finals. And I know that right now they're in the 2 seed without Ja and how they've been playing with Tyus Jones and company. I get all that, but they're playing 2 bigs, right? Most of the time, even if Steven Adams is able to come back, you're going to see them play 2 bigs at the same time on the court, right? And we have Dillon Brooks on the court. Here's what scouting report's going to be against the Memphis Grizzlies when Dillon Brooks and 2 bigs are on the court. We're going to stack the paint. We're going to go under every ball screen, and we're going to force Ja to make jump shots off the dribble. Like, I'm hearing coaches talk about that around the league. Now, 3-point jump shooting off the dribble, Ja's shooting around 34, 35%. Teams are going to pack the paint. So Ja, when he turns that corner, he won't be able to turn the corner as well as he has in the regular season when you get the playoff time because of the way they're going to shrink the court on Ja. And this is not the same team. Desmond Bane is the one consistent 3-point shooter. They're going to sag off of Dillon Brooks all the time, who is 32% 3-point shooter, and they're going to force Dillon Brooks and Ja to beat them from the outside. I think it's going to be a major challenge for them. And another test, I think, if it happens this way, seeding-wise, as much as they talk about Klay Thompson, as much as they talk about Draymond Green, don't let them see the Golden State Warriors. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Andrew Wiggins coming back. Like, there's a lot going on to try to understand what the hell is going on with Andrew Wiggins. Everybody seems to be so tight-mouthed about it, and obviously he's dealing with some stuff outside of basketball, and I hope that he's doing okay with it. Yeah. If they're able to get Andrew Wiggins back and GP2 second back, I mean, you hear Draymond Green talk about it. There is something that feels, even though their road record is not great, that is a matchup that I think Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson feel like it would heighten their level. Like, there's certain teams that you meet when you go into the playoffs that it feels like they can awaken a sleeping giant. And I'm not saying that Golden State will go all the way, but I do believe if they found the Golden State Warriors in that first round, that's a matchup I would favor the Warriors.
Yeah, I agree with you there, no question about it. But I will tell you this. Number one, I'm glad you brought up Andrew Wiggins. Let me say this to Andrew Wiggins, to the Golden State Warriors, and everybody else. You're absolutely right. Ain't none of our damn business what's going on in his personal life. We wish him nothing but the best.
Yes.
And it is absolutely positively true what Draymond Green said. It's none of our business. What is folks' business is when you're coming back. We don't need to know what happened while you're away. It is our business when you're coming back now. Playoffs approaching. You know what I'm saying? They need you. Come on back. Whatever it is you're going through, I wish you nothing but the best. You know what I'm saying? Don't even want to know. It's your personal business. But get back on the court. You know what I'm saying? Because you still getting paid. We want to see you play. That's number one. Number two, I remember speaking to Draymond Green weeks ago, and I asked him a question when he was on my podcast, No Mercy, and I asked him a question about the basketball savants, the guys that, really just their, their level of intellect, their approach to the game, knowing, who do we sleep on? That's one of those brilliant savants that we don't pay enough attention to. I was shocked when he said Ja Morant, because when we think about Ja Morant, we think about his exceptional play, how mercurial he is. The brother is just unstoppable. His athleticism is off the charts, stuff like that. Draymond was like, yo, man, that's a smart brother. That brother knows how to play the game. So when you bring up what teams will plot against him, what I will remind you of, Jay, well, you know what? They've been plotting against Ja Morant for a while. And Ja Morant in the postseason, when healthy, has shown up. He's shown up, and he has shown out. A couple of years ago in the playing game against the Warriors, last year before he went down against the Warriors after Steph exploded, he came out and answered the call in game 2. I mean, the brother shows up in the postseason. And on a personal note, as it pertains to Ja Morant and the applause that he got, first of all, of course they're going to give that because Elvis is dead. Ja Morant is Memphis, not Elvis. Okay, Elvis is dead, ladies and gentlemen. God rest and bless his soul, but he's gone. Stop walking around like he's alive. It's over. It's over. Ja Morant is Mr. Memphis right now. And I love seeing the applause that he got from the crowd, but I will say this. I'm not going to allow Ja Morant to walk around like folks were victimizing him. A lot of people were asking questions, but that brother received a lot of support, publicly and privately. Even people in the media were like, yo, we hope he's okay. We want to see this brother on the court shining and showcasing his greatness. That's what people were saying. And I think that it's important that he recognizes that, because a lot of times people hunker down and you think the world's against you, and then you find the people that support you. That is not the case with Ja Morant. There's a whole bunch of people, including folks in the media, myself included and others, who were very, very supportive of him. And I want to make sure he knows that.
So, Stephen, I just want to say one quick thing about that. So yesterday on my show, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, I stated publicly that I thought the NBA missed the mark on his suspension. I thought that he should have been suspended for the rest of the year, right?
Really?
And I thought there should have been zero tolerance on guns in general. And I thought that, frankly, it wasn't just the strip club incident. It was also, him flexing allegedly on a young man. It was a series of events that have occurred, hearing guns and pistols, that for me, I thought there should have been a zero tolerant policy by the NBA, not only for Ja, but for family members, for agents, for anybody around the NBA, that this is not what we stand for. I said that, but I also said, when all this stuff went down, that the first thing I did was, it's important for us to put our arms around Ja. It's important for us to support Ja Morant. It's important for us to acknowledge and, wish the best for him as he goes through the counseling process. For me, I don't look at me saying, by the way, I thought he should be suspended for the rest of the season without pay, as something holding against Ja. It was more so about the NBA's stance on guns in general. Playing basketball, Stephen A., in the 90s and the early 2000s, I've seen a lot of teammates who would roll around, they had Glocks in their bags. They had different things on them. It was a different world. So my